I can't stop thinking about her. Catman.
So I've been marathoning the best series lately, as only Daddy Capalni gets the Blu-ray treatment, and then I came across a fact about the story Listen, whilst watching the story Listen. So, honestly, you can get an extra one today. You can have a freebie. They're all free. The banging on the base door at the end of the world? The Doctor's theory was wrong, Clara's theory was wrong, it wasn't paranoia, and it wasn't the Midnight Entity or what have you. It was Jack and River playing a prank on Orson Pink. Or at least their crossover story heavily implies it.
An explorer sat in his craft. He's come to see if there's life at the end of the universe.
I see. Shall we go and
Bang on his door?
give him the fright of his life?
Wow, yeah, he took that joke really well. Hey, do you think the guys over at Big Finish will ever just behave? They have multiple characters who seem to only exist to surf decades of lore, and now they're hanging out with each other? Nah, they will never behave. I sincerely hope not, anyway. You couldn't ever give the license to me because it'd just be all this. No storytelling, no 5-year plan, just all hopping around and naughtily graffitiing other people's hard work. And that's where this series comes in. Matrix Present! So, the Doctor's learned the ways of the shinobi. Cracking starts. Depending on which incarnation we're talking about, this is either hilarious or oddly fitting. And here's the thing, it never specifies which Doctor begun this training. Which of the Doctors is a ninja? At this point, I'm convinced that if you just type in a funny word into a wiki, you're bound to find something fun. I recommend it even. Great game. Ninjas and samurai don't really have a place in Who, as Doctor Who doesn't like to do the East all that often, even in the other mediums when they've got the budget. I can name only a handful of stories that involve Japanese history, certainly. And honestly, I find that fact pretty interesting. Even Faction Paradox claimed that ninjas were mythical and never actually existed. But they say that about everyone. The Doctor didn't even learn the ninja arts on Earth, never mind Japan. So, sorry, let me get this right. An ancient, culturally specific human form of assassination was somehow a custom on an alien planet? Go with it. This is the planet Quinis, or as I like to call it, Alien Ninja Planet. Must resist the urge to make Naruto references. I mean, the Doctor being a ninja, it makes sense. A martial arts using appearance-changing twig who doesn't even have a real name and can appear at will? It works, but he's just a little conspicuous, no? Kararimi no Jutsu. This was a claim made by the third Doctor in The Devil Goblins from Neptune. That's the best title for a book that I've ever heard. But this is a Doctor Who story set on his time trapped on Earth with the Brigadier and Liz. Meaning that while it seems like a very natural thing for 3 to say, this means that an earlier incarnation was the ninja. And one he'd actually have to remember. Sorry, Mr. Hinchcliffe, I know, you're very powerful. So, it's a toss-up then. Until you listen to the first Doctor and Susan audio, Quinis. This details their final destination until the two of them take off to planet Earth. Meaning, the Doctor learned to be a ninja as an already elderly man. Look, I'm not saying one couldn't throw down. In fact, he loves a bout of fisticuffs. Have you seen the Romans lately? But the image of Hartnell running across rooftops and throwing decoy shuriken, it still tickles me. It warms my heart. You seem to have underestimated my chakra level, my dear boy. Number 2. Seemingly anybody can build their own Tardis. In fact, many accounts seem to insinuate that it's actually quite easy. It definitely happens a lot. And I'm not just talking time travel in general. Hell, Cybermen, Daleks, and even humans get time ships eventually. I mean specifically, little TARDISes. Or should I say, their various knockoffs. Hey, I might have been the only poor sod to read the Turlo spin-off as a kid. But Turlo and the Earthlink dilemma? Yeah, really. Details him back on Tryon developing their own space-time machines based on Turlo's memories of the Tardis. Eventually they're joined by a C-list Time Lord called the Magician before Turlo kills a couple people in cold blood. Weird book. My favourite childhood monsters, the Skiff, also had their own Scardis. Yeah, give the Skiff who coined that name a pay rise. Super cold and really dank in space. As cool as an ice bar TARDIS is, Unit blew it to pieces. Well, then of course there's Unit, who in the Turn Left timeline without their scientific advisor managed to mod the TARDIS to send Donna to the right time and mostly right place. I'd have called that incredibly convenient, but apparently it's just super doable. There's so many discount TARDISes. Can't afford a TARDIS? Maybe the Sidrat is more in your range. Sidrat, Sidrat? Bad name. That's just TARDIS backwards. Man, I tell you, the late Terrence Dicks came up with some of the silliest stuff in this series. You know that deleted scene they took out in Journey's End where the Doctor gave 10-2 a bit of TARDIS coral? Well, it's back in now. In the Torchwood lab on Pete's World, he's growing his own TARDIS, because it is, in fact, that easy.
In the middle, and they suddenly start talking about a new TARDIS. So I like to imagine this still happened, though. So one day we'll come back and put this one back in.
Oh, and you remember Pussy World? Well, the real party's going over on Dog World, where the Dog Emperor has a time-travelling Meowcopter, which for all intents and purposes, seems to be better than the TARDIS. Don't take anything seriously. Nothing is sacred, and it's better that way. And fact number 3, the Master Reborn. The Time Lords unleashed the Master on 1970s Earth. I'll get that Unit Day and controversy out of my face. If they wanna fraternize in the workplace, that's their business. You know, it's a struggle to not have a master fact in every video. I have to space out the mania so much that this video might not even be possible or comprehensible. A particular favourite though comes from the story Prisoners of the Sun, in which the Time Lords decided to end the sentence of their worst criminal just so it'd give their other criminal something to do, releasing him from his prison cell in Sharda. I suppose keeping the Doctor busy from fixing his own TARDIS is a good motive, but hey, how'd that pan out for you guys in the long run? There's a version of the Doctor Who timeline where the Time Lords just left the Doctor to get on with axons and units and minor strikes, and the Master is still locked away in Sharda to this date. Hell, might even have been a better show. In effect, Gallifrey endangered the cosmos just to gift wrap Season 8 to the Doctor. I don't know about you, but that sounds like intervention. Hey, Matrix, does meddling come under interplanetary intervention? Oh yeah, they do it all the time. Also, in this book, the one that self-destructed before I could finish reading it, the third Doctor story Freedom depicts a defeated 3-and-Joe tricked into an empty dimensional plane whilst the Master wreaks havoc with Earth. As soon as this happens, the Doctor apologises to Jo for entering her life and resigns himself to a depressed lifetime of imprisonment, only to be saved half an hour later by a true Deus Ex Machina in the form of the Time Lords, interfering with history again, giving him all the tools he needs to rescue himself, handing him his own TARDIS on a platter. So it turns out that not only are they the biggest hypocrites in all time and space, but they also watch the Doctor's adventures intensely and can always intervene if their guy isn't currently on top. You heard me correctly, the Unit era has exactly 0 stakes. I love lore. Thank you to all of these names. Look at all those names. We've got Ren, Evan, Debbie, Finley, Tyrant, Leon, Ewan, Andrew, Reese, Paradise Judge, Fire, Leo, Matthew, Ethan, and the Cartooner. Let's grow that list. There's a link in the description if you liked this video and want to see more of them. I'll see you later with another 60 episodes before Christmas, I'm sure.